afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast Lehr today, covering the Flammhetzer 38Hetzer. Yeah, I know it's been out for some time, but generally before it wasn't really worth mentioning because it was really not that good. Hasn't improved that much, but still is sort of now worth mentioning. It's just most people aren't using it, so it's taking some time here because we actually got someone using it. So the Flammhetzer 38Hetzer, a flamethrower armoured assault gun at 280 manpower, 100 fuel, meaning, it's in the cheaper end of sort of armoured call-ins and armoured units. It's basically based on a sort of assault gun chassis, specifically the Hetzer, which is always not available in the game, but basically, it just follows, that means, to some extent, the rules of the Stug and such. You use it to support all your units, with the lack of a turret means it's rather limited in what it can do. It's useful, let's say, team weapons, dug-in units, to a certain extent if it's sort of bunched up, but it's very much dependent on you're working with other units, otherwise it's not quite going to have that punch. Also, upgrading it with a pintle-mounted MG34, which is available for it, is also a pretty good idea. Armor-wise, it can't take that many hits from the front, so also be careful that way. And again, another reason to have it sort of working with other units. But working with other units, the Flammhetzer 38T can do some damage. In particular, if you sort of got a part of a larger assault, your opponent might focus on more valuable units. The Flammhetzer 38T then, sort of with the Hetzer, Flammhetzer, begins burning away at other units that, might be giving a bit more trouble. If you can do that, you'll sort of do alright with it, and generally if you can sort of get up some levels of veterancy, it'll generally sort of improve notably as sort of hits the higher levels, as basically it gets you to, more range, more length on the flame throwing, and just rate of fire, which of course also means the machine gun on top sort of becomes better. So those are things you have to keep in mind there when utilising the Flammhetzer. Again, it's never going to be the biggest of the big, but again, a 280 man per 100 fuel, which is slightly more expensive than a Stug Geo, in fact the same cost than Ostwind. They're a bit limitation, but again it can be useful sort of quickly clearing up buildings, emplacements, and again certain team weapons. If you sort of attack from the right angle of the occupier with something else, again it can do some damage, but single-handedly saving the day, that's not the Flammhetzer. It's never going to be the Flammhetzer. But again, supporting other units, it can be pretty decent. So again, remember, sort of generally just have some infantry working in front of it. Have the Flammhetzer supports it infantry. Maybe have some anti-tank weapons or some other armor nearby near it. As a general rule of thumb, I'd suggest getting armor up before getting a Flammhetzer. That way you have some decent, they can sort of perhaps handle other tanks, and then you sort of use the Flammhetzer to support said tank. Plus, that tank will also more likely then draw the fire, allowing the Flammhetzer to deal with anything that might actually threaten the tank and the Flammhetzer. So, clever use of the Flammhetzer that way can yield you some decent results. But again, it's not going to save the day on its own. That's never going to happen. But again, it's a pretty decent support piece of armor. Again, if properly utilized, like a assault gun, which in this case shoots fire. Maps will generally benefit more from it. For example, more urban maps with a lot more structures, a lot more heavy cover, more open maps. The Flammhetzer can struggle, but again, it will come down to what your opponent does. If he has a ton of infantry, for example, your Flammhetzer might not quite work as well. It can still work compared to, say, if you use a lot of support weapons. So those are some details there to keep in mind with the Flammhetzer. As for dealing with it, shoot it to bits. Again, the armor's not that thick, and any sort of concentrated anti-tank firepower will force the Flammhetzer away. And of course, flanking with any tank will also do the trick, though of course any tank has got nothing to fear from the Flammhetzer, so it's pretty much infantry and team weapons only, and of course structures. I think that overall covers the Flammhetzer here. Not so much else to sort of really comment on, except I'm hoping for a proper Hetzer to be added sometime in the future, a proper assault gun, around this flame-spewing little thing there. It still looks kinda cool, no doubt about that. So hopefully this has been an education. Hopefully there's going to be an idea of what to do with the Flammhetzer and how to use it. Maybe you need to buy it to use it, since it's not the most used thing. But again, it does have its usage if you understand its strengths and its weaknesses and what it can do. So thank you all for joining in. I hope you had some fun. I hope you learned some things. Hopefully it gives you different matches. And of course some strategy and tactics with it. Again, subscribe, tell your friends, like it. The more they like it, the better. So thank you all, and hope to see you all another time. Bye.